December, Abacus Global Management started trading on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol ABX. The firm says it's on a mission to distinguish itself in the asset management space. And joining me now with more, Jay Jackson, Chairman and CEO of Abacus Global Management. Jay, welcome.
Thank you.
And welcome to the NYSE.
Oh my gosh, it's been a great journey getting here.
Yes.
Yes.
What made your company decide to list on the NYSE?
Sure, we were already a listed company. We listed about 3 years ago. We've had an incredible amount of success, 10 consecutive quarters of earnings beats. And for us, the natural transition is our company was really growing at triple-digit revenue numbers, top and bottom line. We thought, let's kind of move up to the big leagues and see what the next stage of our growth implied. And that was being a part of the New York Stock Exchange, being a part of their network brand and system, I think is going to be crucial to our next stage of growth of going from small cap to mid cap to large cap.
What are your biggest goals for 2026?
I think it's most importantly to continue to put out our messaging and brand, that people understand what it is that we do. I mean, what makes us a unique alternative asset manager is that we're actually the source of the underlying asset that we ultimately manage that's incredibly high demand by some of the largest asset managers in the world. So rather than just selling that asset to them, we're actually utilizing that asset, we're running that asset ourselves, and then selling those products out.
Give our viewers a better sense of your business. Walk us through the strategy and what you're aiming to accomplish.
I think from a strategy perspective, what we purchase are life insurance policies. We provide liquidity to people who had looked at their policy and didn't realize that it had value, and that's to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars per year. Because of that value add, we have an uncorrelated yielding product. So in a market of volatility, our origination goes up, our manufacturing goes up, and we have an uncorrelated yield. And in these kinds of markets, whether it's you're in the bond market or the equity market, people are desperately seeking that kind of asset to go forward with, and that puts us in a great position.
Mm-hmm. How does Abacus work in longevity-based assets and
Sure.
Data-driven wealth solutions?
So what we try to do is capture the entire life cycle of not just our client, but the underlying asset. Here's what I mean by that. We actually aggregate the lifespan, the underlying lifespan of the person's policy that we're acquiring. And that's super important because we now apply that data to several sources, pension funds, government agencies. Think about this. We have this wealth of data around healthcare, around medical, around lifespan, around mortality. And we can apply all of that to not just our investments, but we can also represent that as a service and sell that data back to major companies. And so with that aggregation of data, it's an incredibly undervalued piece to our business that is growing at several multiples.
Where do you see the biggest growth opportunities for your firm?
Sure, it's two areas. One, asset management, but two, I think private wealth management. If you have lifespan data, let me ask you a question. What's the number one fear of someone in retirement? Running out of money.
Right.
Right? What if they better understood how long they're going to be in retirement so that they could better manage those assets? Using our data, our lifespan data, and applying that to financial services is going to fundamentally change how people plan for their estate, plan for their loved ones, and ultimately transfer wealth to the next generation.
Mm-hmm. What trends are you seeing in institutional demand for the types of solutions that Abacus offers?
For sure, people are looking for things that are less correlated, that are more consistent, that can produce at a higher level. What we see in the markets today is different volatility and uncertainty. We all believe that 26 is going to ultimately be a very strong year, but where? And we produce an uncorrelated yielding asset that is incredibly high demand, that appreciates in value regardless of market conditions. So that's the biggest trend we're seeing. Our assets under management are up over 50% this year, and that's only going to continue because of that trend.
Does it feel different to be listed here on the NYSE now?
It feels absolutely different. It feels great. I would argue that we're sitting in a position now where globally brands are our investors are really looking at our brand and saying, great, Abacus is now listed on the NYSE. Let's take a second look.
All right, Jay Jackson, Chairman and CEO of Abacus Global Management. Jay, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you.